Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into the story of the Thai American community. It's a fascinating group that's growing fast and really making its mark on the U.S. economy. And you know what? We're going to let the numbers do the talking. Okay, so let's just jump right in with the single number that really grabs your attention: 79%. I mean, just think about that for a second. 79%. When you're talking about a community's growth, what on earth could that number possibly mean? Yep, you guessed it. This isn't just, steady growth. This is a massive expansion. We're talking about a 79% jump in the Thai American population since the year 2000. And that incredible surge, it's almost entirely driven by immigration. So that massive jump brings us to today's number, which is right around 195,000 people who identify as Thai alone. Now, you might be thinking that's not the largest Asian origin group in the US, and you'd be right. But it's the speed of that growth that makes their story so compelling and so important to really get our heads around. And here's the thing. That whole growth story, it's fundamentally an immigrant story. Just look at this breakdown. Almost 3/4, 74% of all Thai Americans are born outside the US. Seriously, this one fact is probably the key to understanding everything else we're about to look at, especially when it comes to the economic side of things. All right, so we've established we have a fast-growing community, one that's mostly built on immigration. So the big question is, how does that actually play out in the U.S. economy? Let's dive into the workforce numbers. And what the data shows us is pretty incredible, a really powerful work ethic. We're looking at almost 66% of Thai Americans over the age of 16 being in the labor force. To put that in perspective, that's actually a higher rate than the U.S. population in general. Bottom line, this is a community that is absolutely putting in the work. And that high level of engagement, it also shows up when you look at unemployment. It's really interesting. If you look at all foreign-born workers, which is where most Thai Americans fall, their unemployment rate is just a little bit lower than for native-born workers. It really paints a picture of, resilience and steady employment. Okay, so let's recap. So far, the story is super positive, right? Impressive growth, a really strong drive to work. But things get a little more complicated, a bit more nuanced when we start looking at income and the kinds of jobs people are doing. And this is exactly where that nuance kicks in. The median household income for Thai Americans is about $82,000. And hey, that's a solid number. But it's quite a bit lower than the overall median for all Asian American households, which is up over 100,000. So that makes you wonder, right? If workforce participation is so high, why is there an income gap? What's going on here? Well, the data on occupations, that's where we're going to find the answer. And here it is, plain and simple, it's all about the type of work. Almost a third of all employed Thai immigrants work in service jobs. That concentration is way higher than what you see for a lot of other Asian origin groups, and it's really the single biggest factor shaping the community's economic story. And just so we're all on the same page, when we say service occupations, we're talking about those absolutely essential jobs that keep everything moving, like food service, hospitality, think restaurants and hotels, and personal care. These jobs are crucial, no doubt about it, but they just tend to have a different earnings ceiling compared to, say, jobs in tech or management. Now, these job trends are definitely connected to education. And look, almost half of Thai American adults have a bachelor's degree or higher, which is fantastic. But it is a little bit below the average for all Asian Americans combined. And that difference can really influence the pathways people take into different kinds of professions. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. What's the big picture? What is all this data telling us about the really unique profile of the Thai American community? So you see, it really comes down to these three things. But they're not just separate bullet points, right? They're all connected. You have this fast-growing, immigrant-driven community, which leads to this super high participation in the workforce. And that workforce has this unique focus on service industries. It's that combination that really defines the economic story here. And this insight from the Migration Policy Institute really gets to the why. Why does this matter? Because it's not just about what jobs people have. It's about all the complex stuff behind the scenes that shapes those career paths. Things like immigration pathways, maybe language barriers, or even just having access to the right professional networks when you get here. So what we have here is an amazing data snapshot of today. But it really leaves you with a big forward-looking question, doesn't it? as this really vibrant community keeps growing, and as the next generation carves out new paths in education and their careers, you have to wonder, what will their economic story in America look like in the years and decades ahead?